afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Asymmetrical Talks, powered by Asymmetrical AI, which is digital reading, writing, and coding platform for K-12 students. Today we have Dr. Sholapurkar sir with us. A brief introduction about him. In fact, when I asked him for his brief intro, I realized it can't be brief because he has spent 35 years in making mathematics easy for so many students out there. He is adjunct faculty at Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana. He is training and mentoring International Maths Olympiad students for several years. He is also chief coordinator for Madhava, which is maths examination for undergrad students. So much that sir has done for the field of maths, and who better than him to help us understand maths better. So very warm welcome to you, sir. And in your language, if I have to put it, Pune is at 40 degrees, and where you are in Austria, it is 10 degrees. So on an average, we have a decent weather here.
Decent weather. Thank you, Siddharth. Okay.
Yes. So shall we begin?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So many parents and students find maths is a very as a difficult subject, or it's a very dreaded subject for students and parents. I'm saying students and parents because initially parents can help, but as they climb their grades, it becomes difficult even for parents. So why is it so, or is there any reality in that, and can that be changed?
Hello, Siddharth, and hello everyone there on this asymmetrical platform. First of all, I was very curious about this name itself, asymmetrical, because in mathematics, what we look for is symmetry. And now I got chance to talk on this asymmetrical platform. So first of all, thank you, asymmetrical team. And coming to your question, uh, generally, not just students, parents, generally society carries an impression that mathematics is a difficult subject. It's a kind of dry subject, and there is some kind of phobia for this. In fact, we mathematicians have coined a term mathophobia, that is phobia for mathematics among the society. And very surprisingly, or one can say this phobia gets carried from one generation to the other also through variety of means, including literature. So many of you must be aware of a Marathi poem, Sang Sang Bholanath. And in that Sang Sang Bholanath song, there is a sentence, Bholanath udya hai ganitacha paper. Okay. Now, it could have been Itihasasa paper or Marathi's paper, but this Ganitacha appears. This appears because this kind of impression that if you want to put something as difficult or hard, or you want to scare someone, you use mathematics. So through literature, through parent talking to the child, oh, udya Ganitacha paper, like this. So the conversation itself carries this impression from one generation to the other. Whereas my impression, or generally those who like mathematics and do mathematics, as a kind of different opinion, not because we like mathematics, but putting it logically, mathematics is a logical subject and there is no scope for interpretation. Suppose if I want to tell you what is Pythagoras theorem, I cannot start my sentence that I feel that Pythagoras theorem is like this. There is no feeling around that. Okay, it has to be precise. It will be same in Pune, it will be same in Austria, it will be same in Zimbabwe. Everywhere the statement will be same. The proof will be same. Whatever mathematics associated, that will be same. Whereas in other subjects like say poetry or social sciences, one poem has hundreds of interpretation. And once poet writes poetry, he does not have any right on that. This is a law. I mean, it is up to the interpreter, it is up to the reader. And poet cannot say that I never wanted to say this. Similarly, for social science, say for example, why Second World War took place. There are hundreds of books written on it, and the opinions are controversial. So there are multiple truths which contradict each other, but all are true at the same time in other subjects. So they are difficult. One has to understand many things simultaneously. Whereas in mathematics, it is a very logical subject. Only hurdle could be possibly the vocabulary. Those equations, then you put X somewhere, okay, the language. And other reason is it is little abstract in the sense that in the outside world, when you go outside the classroom, you don't meet mathematics anywhere. See, you meet trees, animals, you see history, you talk in your language. So languages, other subjects, You meet outside your classrooms also. Whereas mathematics, if you learn quadratic equation in the classroom and if you go outside the classroom, you never see quadratic equations around. Even numbers are abstract. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, we are familiar with numbers, but we can't touch them. They are not physical objects. They are abstract objects. Okay. So this abstraction and the vocabulary, that is initial hurdle. So I feel that if at initial stages, if you get good teacher, good master, or some communicator who can tell you mathematics in a fun way, okay, then mathematics is extremely simplest subject, because there is nothing to interpret. You have to just go through logic. So logic is inbuilt in every human being, and if you go logically, you don't have to go by emotions or something like this. It will follow. Okay, so it should be most interesting as well as simple subject. But because of this, various means that come into the picture and they create impression that mathematics is difficult, perhaps slowly mathematics educators should work more hard to take out this impression from the society. Even people take pride many times. I saw many doctors, lawyers, they say, oh, mathematics is very difficult for us, like that. So this impression is there, but that's not the truth is it's one of the simplest subjects and challenging subject, therefore very beautiful also.
That's a very different take on, or different interpretation of mathematics, because I never looked at it this way, that history or other subjects, have some kind of difficulty embedded in them, whereas maths, if you understand clearly, might help students to, grasp it better. So can you simplify this further with some examples, or how you tend to help people understand that maths is so easy? Otherwise, how do you do that?
See, maths can be looked upon in variety of ways. Okay, not every person will pursue maths as career or may not be a professional in mathematics. But just like swimming or bicycle, it's a lifetime skill. You go to medicine or you become a chartered accountant or even you become an artist, whatever. If you have some kind of mathematical rationale in you, that your brain is somewhat trained in a mathematical way, mathematical quote unquote, I mean logical way, then it helps throughout your life in every walk of life. Okay. So if I want to give example, I will give example from recreational mathematics maybe. Okay, because that comes closer to entire sector in the society. If I give example in say quadratic equation or calculus, it will not suit on this platform in the sense that everybody may not pursue mathematics in that way. But even if you go to market, okay, you do lot of mathematics unknowingly. Okay, see, suppose somebody has, let me give a kind of puzzle type of example. Somebody has say 10 pockets, shirt, pant, all that, and he has 44 balls in the hand. Now I want to distribute these balls in my pockets so that every pocket will have different number of balls. So I cannot keep one ball and other pocket also one ball. No, then I will have to keep two like this. Can I do that? Okay. Then one has to scratch head, but little reflection will give you, some kind of mathematics that you're using. Or I will give a kind of example
So,
that perhaps
if I
students
may
here.
interrupt you there, so my mind started thinking, okay, if I have to put it differently, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can keep doing that. But then I will finish very soon all the 44 balls, but I'll have more pockets. So at least that much imagination I have. I may not be expert in mathematics. So is that
This
what?
will involve, so one who will pursue this, doing this will involve what is sum of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4.
Right.
Okay. So sum of first natural numbers. So somebody will hit that formula or enter into domain of mathematics through this puzzle. So
Right.
I will come to that point. So puzzles take you from
Yeah.
your common understanding to mathematical principles. I will give other simple example if you want.
Yeah.
Will students will like. So some demon is there, suppose, whose name is Vishamasur. Okay,
Okay.
Vishamasur. Visham means odd number.
Okay.
And there are suppose 1,000 people standing in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And this Vishamasur comes and he kills odd people. That is first, third, fifth, seventh, and so on.
Mm.
Then half of the people will remain. Then among them, he will kill again first, third, odd. So he doesn't like odd. So he will keep
Okay.
killing odd. So who will survive ultimately among those 1,000 people, one person will remain.
Right.
So this is a simple thing, and common person also can think about this. But while doing this, you will enter slowly into the domain of mathematics. So rather than going to mathematics in a technical way, if you approach mathematics either through puzzles or through applications. So if you can give simple examples in market or at a little higher age in the architecture or construction or building, and little more higher if you want to go, then you can talk about artificial intelligence or share market or graphs, several shapes, several shapes in the sky that appear. So in variety of ways, you can enter into the domain of mathematics rather than going to the board and writing theorems and proofs. Okay, that might scare the listener, but these are various ways. That is through poetry also one can go, through puzzles, through applications. Then it can become more interesting. And that is our job actually, educators' job, to make the subject more interesting in this variety of ways. And people have been doing it, but the fear is at a slightly larger kind of volume. So it will take some time to clear that.
Right. But the first question that comes to a student's mind when he listens or she listens to these kind of puzzles, where do I use this? I mean, these puzzles are fine. It might bring some interest in my life about maths, but why do I still need to learn it? I mean, where do I use mathematics? They keep asking this question, even to their parents, and beyond a point, then parents are also fed up. So, okay, I'm able to solve some puzzles. Then what? Because this
Okay.
then what is becoming very crucial for every parent, and
Yes,
even
yes.
for
The question makes sense. Question makes sense that one wants to relate it to what will happen to, I mean, cause and effect kind of relationship. So if you
yeah,
do something, if you do exercise, you will get strength. If you
right,
go for a swimming class, you will learn swimming. So some
yeah,
effect has to be seen ultimately. Okay.
right.
But very basic, if parents want to think at a very basic fundamental level, whether
Hmm.
their kid should be able to think. See how what separates animals from human beings is capacity of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. So every parent should aim that their kid should think very clearly, think positively, think clearly. Now, puzzle is one very special ingredient for stimulating your brain.
Hmm.
That has been proved scientifically also. Okay. So giving right puzzles at right age is not mathematics. Suppose that person or that child pursues economics,
Hmm.
but then economics that person will approach from a very logical standpoint because his brain is trained that way. Now, coming to the second part of your question, real life. Okay. So, mathematics has this completely other phase other than what one learns in schools, that is applicable phase. In fact, in earlier days, we need to choose that you want to take pure maths or applied maths. And degree also used to be MSc pure maths, MSc applied maths. So this applied maths is something like astronomy. Typical subjects in applied mathematics are astronomy, but I will give more common examples. Like if you go to market, you need to do some computation. Now, computation is a small part of mathematics, though it is not mathematics as such. Okay, geometry is more powerful picture of mathematics. But that also, if you go to construction, if you consider any architect, okay, then they nowadays use packages. But these packages are built from geometry principles. See, Pythagoras theorem is 2,500 years old, but it can never become obsolete. Our mobile phone gets obsolete. Obsolete. People say that you are using only now this 14th or 13th. We are
Right.
using 17. My students used to say, "Sir, this phone is very outdated." Okay. Pythagoras theorem will never become outdated or
Right.
obsolete.
Right.
It will find its application every now and then. And in every package, architecture package here, suppose if you want to do visuals, advertisements, okay, certain motorbike is going, and suddenly that motorbike becomes a lion. Then that
Sure.
lion is running. Now,
Right.
how these advertisements are created? There are various curves that are drawn on the screen. How these curves are drawn? So, if you get into details of how technology works, you will
Hmm.
end up in someone sitting on the top floor who is a mathematician, okay, but he will not be visible, okay. He will be sitting there and doing his job. What comes in front of our eyes is technology. Okay, something that immediately comes to these mobile phones. Okay, various aspects, but to the root, you will have to solve some equations, find some optimization techniques. Okay, so a lot of mathematics goes into real life applications. Okay,
Right.
and students who want to pursue mathematics in applied way, they have tremendous scope. Every private sector company has R&D department.
Mm.
What those R&D people are? So real people who write the software are more or less mathematician. Theoretical computer science is equivalent to computer is mathematics. So mathematics has this, but at the same time, if you allow me, I want to give one message
Yeah, please.
that application is something that has to be seen with a pinch of salt. Every now and then you cannot ask question how this is used, how this is used. Okay. Something can be aesthetically good. So if mathematical problem has been thrown at you, if you
Mhm.
cannot solve, you scratch your head. You take pen and pencil and try to solve it. You can't do it today, but that is
Right.
in your mind. You try to do it tomorrow. You try to do next day. And at some point, something clicks in your mind. Something happens in your brain. And you see, oh, this needs to be done. And then you write something on the pen and you get enlightened. You feel enlightened that you feel that, oh, this trick worked. See, most of the mathematicians do mathematics for getting this pleasure. And
Okay.
why our children should not get this pleasure of solving mathematical problems? So this is aesthetic part of doing mathematics. So one is applied part, so some usefulness, but not all the time usefulness comes into the picture. Sometimes, the pleasure of our mind, this brain game, solving good and tougher problems, that is also one pure face of mathematics, and that also parents need to encourage. So giving puzzles, giving, then they will get different skill, different aesthetic skills also they will achieve.
Right. This is a very important point, and in our internal meetings also, this thing gets
Yeah.
discussed a lot because many a times when parent asks us that what is the use of reading this or doing that, our answer is kind of evolving. But where we are today, our answer is very simple for parents that this is a transferable skill set. We may not know the answer as to what benefit it brings today, but
Right.
in some time in future, they might be able to use this as a transferable skill set, meaning they have learned it here in a particular domain, but they can use it somewhere else. And
Absolutely. I know some very experts in medicine field.
right,
They say that we are doctors. I learned mathematics only up to 10 standard or 12 standard, but they did mathematics. I mean, they liked mathematics in their school or college days and pursued some mathematics, even doing their medicine. And they say that we are tremendously benefited because doing mathematics in a serious way in their school or college days. So this is some kind of transferable skill.
right,
So that got imbibed in their brain, this
right,
mathematical way of thinking, which they used in medicine field. And same thing happens in variety of other fields, which closer fields are physics, statistics, and other chemistry. But even something like biology, people have been using mathematics. They are not mathematicians, but
right.
mathematical skill is used there.
Yes, and that's, I think, is very important. So our education system is also undergoing a lot of changes. So we have
Yes,
seen NEPs making
yes,
the
yes,
changes which are necessary for current requirements and maybe future requirements. So how
yes.
NEPs redesigning mathematics, and what is your observation around that? And this is especially very important because now we are seeing that NEP is getting implemented, so even parents and students are curious to know this side of it.
Sure, sure. NEP is coming very substantially in school as well as college curriculum.
Yeah.
And main approach in NEP, which is different from the earlier educational point of view, is some kind of cafeteria approach. That is rather than specializations.
Mm.
So specialization is important, but at the same time, as a development as a human being. So if I'm mathematician, do I also know some social science?
Mm.
I also know some literature or not?
Mhm.
As a human being, I cannot know only a narrow, my subject is functional analysis. In functional analysis, my subject is operator theory. Then I worked on subnormal operator, which nobody will understand. Do I know some geography? Do I know some history? Do I know some physics? Am I interested in literature? So right from school, if this kind of approach of creating human beings which have multifaceted interests, so NEP is focused on that. So even in schools, now the topics are designed in such a way that mathematics and its relation with other subjects. So in the curriculum of social science with literature. So this kind of cafeteria approach in colleges also, these major minor subjects have come in now. Okay. And the thrust is on mathematics put there, could be useful to statistics, physics, chemistry, like that. And some percentage of students will definitely do major mathematics. But while they are doing their major mathematics, they also need to learn some economics, some statistics, something like this. So this is major change in the approach in new education policy. And I'm very happy about it in some sense that now the true products, it has not completely yet come into the school curriculum, but the products of NEP after few years, suppose, they will be conversant with many subjects rather than narrow specializations. That is one thing. Other thing that has come up in NEP is Indian knowledge system. Okay. So, for example, the names like Aryabhatta, Brahmagupta, Bhaskaracharya. Okay. These names, students perhaps hear, but what exactly they did, that never came into our curriculum when I was learning, or perhaps Siddharth, you were learning. We knew these names, but we never knew what they exactly did.
Yes.
Or Madhava, Kerala School of Mathematics, very amazing 250 years of oral tradition in India, which perhaps very few people know. And they have done amazing work in mathematics and astronomy. Now that has to come into curriculum sometimes. See, calculus, all of us have learned that Newton and Leibniz have discovered calculus.
Mhm.
Okay. But we have evidence 200 years before Newton, this Madhava school, there is evidence of this calculus work in their Madhava Kerala School of Mathematics. So now, new education system has brought in this Indian knowledge system very heavily into curriculum. So every chapter, what is Indian contribution in that particular topic will be given, right, in school as well as in colleges. So this IKS, that is Indian knowledge system, is a very different new things that has come up in the new education policy.
Okay. So, along with these changes, there is a very high level of interest in Olympiad, especially International Olympiad, and you're a mentor to so many students out there. So, would you like to add something in that regard for the parents and for the students? And recently, IITs also have announced that they'll accept this score for admissions. So, any advice there?
Okay. Now you will have to tell me how much time you give, because you have brought me on my home ground and I will keep talking on it. So
As long as we see listeners there glued to their screens, I don't think we have any problem. But we do have 5 minutes in our hand. Yeah.
See, I got chance to train Olympiad students right from regional, national to international level, and go as a member of the Indian team, which is a big honor. So, in the International Mathematics Olympiad, not only that, I represented India in the international community as national coordinator for Maths Olympiad. And this telling about Maths Olympiad is this is a movement in India that started in 1989. Okay, so this curriculum of Maths Olympiad goes beyond school curriculum. This examination is only up to +2, but the curriculum is much beyond that, in the sense that two additional subjects are there, that is number theory and combinatorics, apart from algebra, geometry that you learn in schools. But algebra geometry also, depth of the questions is very high and increases from regional to national to international.
Mhm.
This International Maths Olympiad, sometimes, suppose I am a coach, but even I'm coaching International Maths Olympiad students for several years, I won't be able to tackle the questions in that. It is
Yeah.
like football coach who can just stand outside and tell players, but cannot go and play. Okay. So only those most bright kids can go there and perform. Okay. So International Olympiad is on 2 days, three problems in 4.5 hours, extremely difficult new problems which have never appeared anywhere in the world. Best
Wow.
of the mathematicians sit and design those problems, fresh problems. So very challenging competition. And to reach there, only 6 students go in the team. But at the ground level, initial level, regional level, about 2 lakh students appear. So a
Okay.
natural question that comes to anybody's mind, that is 2 lakhs minus 6. What happens to those kids? Okay. So is it a waste? So absolutely not. Even someone appears for the regional mathematics Olympiad, and I will say that scores even less than 10 marks out of 100, suppose, then that student is also much better than a student who is not appearing at all.
Okay.
At present, even not even 5% students who go to school appear for Olympiad. The number is less. But those 5% have learned much more mathematics.
Okay.
They have experienced good mathematical problems. And some of them pursue their career also because they have entered into Maths Olympiad. There are
Right.
extremely bright students who are now pursuing their career in mathematics, pure mathematics, research in mathematics, just because they got introduced to Maths Olympiad at right age. And some of them are not doing, but still, because they study these subjects in more depth, their school curriculum, they find it like a cakewalk in the sense that they go there and solve. Because our school examination, okay, speaking unofficially, are more predictable and easy as compared to Maths Olympiad. Okay,
Right.
they are sort of, if you solve last 10 years question papers, 11th year the question paper is more or less similar. So a good student will be able to crack, but even an average student who does Maths Olympiad
Mhm.
doesn't perform well there. Consider a typical scenario. Okay, score suppose only 10 marks out of 100. But in school, he will perform much better because he has gone through all that churning. Okay.
Right.
Therefore, appearing for Maths Olympiad is important. Getting into that movement of Maths Olympiad will increase this. We started with Maths is scary subject and all that. So as much as this Maths Olympiad will grow, this fear will go when these kids will become parents. They will have, they must be, they must have gone through this experience. So like this it will spread. So Olympiad is a movement rather than one competition, and as much as it spreads, everything will be good. As far as this fear will go, students will take interest. We will have a community who will think more logically. Okay. So one can go on and on to talk about Maths Olympiad, but I will urge parents and school students that at least go for the competition. See, competition and exam are different concepts. Exam you have to score because your next year admission depends on the previous year's score. Exam you have to study what are question papers like. Competition is for yourself. You test your skills. You go there, try your best. Whatever happens, then next time again go and enhance your skills. So it is for your own thing. Examination is sometimes for others also. Okay, it is for you, but also for your career, your paths, and all that. But competition you must go. So I will urge everyone, parent as well as teacher, students here, that go for Maths Olympiad. It is a fun.
That's very beautiful take on exam and competition because that will take away the fear that is there in the minds of students to appear for these kind of competitions, where they generally feel that they won't be able to score much higher than the best student out there or the other students.
Yeah.
So that comparison is always there in their minds, which scares them otherwise. So I think this will definitely push them or help them, appear for this test. So.
Yeah.
You always say that school exam is like a one knot. Local some difficult exams are like two knots, but these are Olympiad or other exams are three knots. And you have to solve those to crack it. Can you give some something around that to our students in terms of logic? I know it's a vast question, but I had the privilege of having discussions with you in the past around this topic. So is there any formula or is there anything that you want to help them understand how to solve maybe at a higher level?
First of all, training is necessary for Maths Olympiad competitions. And as such, also, mathematics is subject where training is needed. In fact, very good and very kind of pleasant, I will say, use the word. Mathematics classroom should be very pleasant.
Okay.
Students should enter with a smile inside the classroom. First of
Hmm.
all, that will take away the fear from students.
Right.
And good training, good training of solving problems.
Hmm.
See, many skills one learns by trying yourself.
Right.
See, suppose if you want to learn swimming,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot go to the tank and stand outside and see others swimming and learn yourself. You cannot learn swimming that way.
Right.
So mathematics, for that matter, any other subject, but more for mathematics, you have to do mathematics. You cannot read mathematics or you
Right.
cannot hear mathematics. If I give you lectures on mathematics, that will not help much beyond a point. You
Okay.
have to take a pen, pencil, and start doing it.
Right.
Okay. So solving problems, but give them direction and graded problems. So simple problems. So first of all, I will give you. So Siddharth, if you say that you want to learn mathematics, I will give
Yeah.
you simple problems. So on
Okay.
first day, you will get feeling, oh, I can do everything. All right.
Right.
The next day, I will increase the difficulty level. Then
Right.
I will tell you how to tackle this. So this
Okay.
Maths Olympiad game is something like this. That is initially regional level problems are one twist in the sense that you tell them then how to get around that twist and how to solve that. So give several examples.
Mm-hmm.
Once they master that, give slightly difficult problems. So
Okay.
take them to more deeper waters in some sense. Okay. And then train their mind so that from one knot, they know that this is not end. I want to get into more deeper waters. See, this is
Right.
fun also. Doing all this is a great intellectual fun. And I always want that students should go through all that.
Right.
Solving problems is such a fun. It is kind of highest level of pleasure that one gets. You
Right.
get pleasure out of listening music, watching movies, and so on. But a tremendous amount of pleasure you get by solving mathematical problems. There are
Right.
small tricks involved, some brain teasers are involved. So our students should get into all this fun. And this Olympiad movement is one such opportunity that students can actually, because school mathematics may not allow that, may not be there, it may not be possible because it is meant for masses. In India, we have adopted mass education.
Right.
So if you want to get into this real fun, you go to Maths Olympiad or any competition. There are several maths competition at school level. Granit, Pratnya, Pravinya, Maths exams, this scholarship, Jain scholarship. Go for everything
Right.
that will allow you to solve mathematical problems.
Right. So I think this is kind of resonating with my own experience. I was trying to learn how to write, and I went to a very noted author, and I sat in front of him and I said, I want to learn how to write. So he said, have you ever written something? So I told him, no, I have these five, six ideas in my mind. Like a naive person, I kind of exposed that to him.
Yeah.
So he gave me my first, breakthrough, or kind of, he opened my mind by saying that he who writes is a writer. So if you
Ah,
want to become a writer and write anything, you have to first write and then come to me. And he actually rejected me there. So from that rejection to writing so many short stories, all this journey was possible only because of that rejection. So I think when you said that mathematics also requires practicing and solving those problems, and that's a very different kind of a pleasure. So I think students will definitely relate to that, because if they solve, they get good marks and they build their own logic and
I
transferable.
will also take this opportunity to talk to parents or students. One more thing that is perhaps missing in our regular classroom teaching and all that. Our exams are oriented towards writing answers.
Mhm.
So questions are posed and we write answers. So our brain gets trained in somebody is asking me something and I should answer.
Right,
Brain is never trained to ask questions.
right,
Okay. So our parents or teachers or students, if they want to do some exercise, then I always suggest that make a notebook and call it as question notebook.
okay.
Okay. And every day, whatever you have learned something, write questions on that. Nobody will ask you any answer. Do you have any question on this? So if I teach you, suppose simultaneous equations, or
Mhm.
if I teach you some history topic, okay, now you will understand and some question is asked, you will answer. No, that's not enough. Do you have any question on this? Write
Mhm.
down in your notebook.
Right,
So writing questions is real training to brain and that is will lead to creativity. Otherwise, my brain is trained to answering something. That means either mugging up or understanding. Understanding is also lower level of intelligence.
right,
Thinking on your own is higher level.
right.
You tell me something I understand is fine. I am intelligent enough. I mean, moderately intelligent. But you are talking me about something and I am thinking creatively. I will also ask you something about it. That is what is expected. And our students should get training of asking questions. Okay.
Right. I think it's even more important in the world of AI and GPTs where
Absolutely.
you can
Absolutely.
get answers for almost everything, but it will probably never train you to ask the right questions, things that only human mind, at least for now, can think of. So
See,
it.
once it starts in our early school days, Hatachi Gadi and Tondavar boat, it stays till post graduation, PhD. That Tondavar boat is there constantly. It stays till end.
So I hope this session will help a lot of teachers and students to remove that Tonda Varsa boat at least
Yes.
for their own sake and benefit. Before we end this dialogue and move on to the question answer series or question answers that are being posted in the chat, one last question that a lot of parents today are attending this session because the topic was mathematics for everyone, and Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana is conducting something interesting around that. So would you like to share that information with the listeners and help
Okay.
them
Yeah,
understand?
briefly, I will share about that course. This course we already run when pandemic was going on. We thought that, everyone is at home. And we already knew that many people, like perhaps Siddhartha, they like mathematics, but they couldn't pursue mathematics as career. There are many doctors, engineer, lawyer, or even housewives, many people who like mathematics, who do those Sudoku in the newspaper. So in mind somewhere they want to know something about mathematics, though technical mathematics could be difficult. That needs training and graded training. But there are many recreational things and very interesting things in mathematics that everyone can take part, everyone can enjoy. And through this exercise, perhaps if you feel get more interested, you can pursue more. But without any technical jargon, without any equations, without any theorems, proofs, technical language, which could be scary, perhaps, only interesting things. So, for example, mathematics in nature. So, if you go out in nature, if you see trees, if you see patterns on animals, okay, and why trees go in a certain direction. Okay. So, nature, if you observe carefully and start asking question, do you hit mathematics somewhere? So, is there any mathematics in nature? Is there mathematics in music? Are there stories about mathematicians? See, mathematicians are human beings. So, there are very funny and interesting stories about mathematicians.
Okay.
There are cartoons, jokes, poems on mathematics. So, there is a lighter side of mathematics, a recreational side of mathematics, and everyone can participate in that and everyone can listen to that. So, we have designed a course. Name of the course is Mathematics for Everyone. And we assure that there is no technical jargon in this. You can sit and enjoy lighter side of mathematics. Okay. So we are planning to run this course from mid-August. Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana is a mathematics institute which caters to students from school up to research level. Okay. At various stages, students can take training at Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana. It's a about 50 years old, very reputed mathematics institute in India. And on behalf of that, we will, this institute will run this course. I will be coordinating that course, and about 12 to 15 sessions of 2 hours duration once in a week.
Okay.
And preferably, we will be doing it on Saturdays, but details can be shared to those who will be interested in doing this course.
Okay.
So this will be, there is no bar for age group. School students to, anyone. In our last course, uh, there was a lady of more than 85 years old who participated in this. She
Wow.
was in USA, but she was so punctual for this course and she used to ask questions. So really someone who was interested in this. So anyone from any profession, any age group, no bar on whether you're 10th standard pass or 12th standard pass. It is just recreation around mathematics. So
Okay.
if you are interested, maybe you can write to Bhaskaracharya Pratishthan or fill a Google form, which will be shared with you shortly on this platform, maybe,
Yeah. So
and register your interest there. Then
Right.
you will get more information from Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana once you register through this Google form. Okay. There will be several speakers. I will be giving some lectures and my colleagues will be also participating. You will come to know more about Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana also and many more interesting things in this course, which all I cannot tell you now because if you come to the course, you will come to know more.
Right. So are there limited seats for this, or they can join anytime and
Uh,
be assured about the
if you're
seat?
really interested, I would suggest that you register immediately. The seats are limited, and our previous experience is very encouraging in the sense that seats get full very
Okay.
quickly. So those who are interested can immediately register their interest. They will get mail, and they will get entire kind of what is fee structure, everything from Bhaskaracharya Pratishthan at that time. It is from mid-August to 12 sessions. Okay,
Okay.
so whatever it comes to, 3.5 months it will run. Every
Okay.
Saturday, only once in a week, 2 hours.
Okay.
Okay, and you don't have to prepare for the course, nothing. You come there, sit and enjoy. You can ask questions. And if you get interested, there are further courses maybe we can give you later.
I wish maths was like that in our school. But for parents, we have shared one PDF in webinar chat, and there is also one Google form which directly takes you to Bhaskaracharya Pratishthana. You can secure your seat or register your interest from there. Once we end this session, you won't be able to access these links. So my advice will be to download and keep it with you before the meeting gets over. Uh, Sir, this was a wonderful session for every one of us, and I'm sure for parents and students as well. But before we end, there are a couple of questions in Q&A. I would like to read out the first one.
Yeah, thank you, Siddhartha. I also enjoyed talking to you and
So
talking
much,
to
sir, for
everyone
your time.
present on this platform.
Yes. So the question is, we have observed explaining a concept in mother tongue helps children understand it better, but how will that be feasible when even parents will be unable to do that for higher standard children? It is surely not possible in the schools. I think more than a question, this is observation, and the answer is also in that. So we can, if you want to add something to that, otherwise we can move on to the next one.
Learning in mother tongue is always better than learning in English. That is my firm opinion. Of course, mathematics, as you go to higher levels, say undergraduate level, when you start learning calculus, complex analysis, higher subjects, we don't have study material still in mother tongues. Okay. Now things are much better than when we learned. Now there are books in Marathi. There is a dictionary. Okay, for I'm giving example like
Right.
Marathi, but any mother tongue it applies. Now there are good dictionaries, government dictionaries, and there are efforts that undergraduate education could be also in Marathi. But at
Okay.
school level, definitely mother tongue helps. Uh, Conceptual understanding is much better in mother tongue. I am of that opinion, certainly. Yes.
So the next question is from Selva Lakshmi Das, and she's a teacher. Some students are not able to remember the formulas and properties. Please suggest some ways.
Mhm, mhm. See, remembering is not really, I mean, necessary. First of all, we have to solve problems on that concept. See, if you tell the concept and ask them to remember it, it will never stay in their mind or brain. So, illustrations are very important. One learns through illustrations. See, human beings also, we remember faces and forget names later on. Okay. So, visual memory is more powerful. So, tell concept, give some definition, and give lots of examples. And every time in that example, that definition or concept will come. So that by way of doing that, illustrations, that definition will fit into their mind. At early stages, see multiplication tables, they have to by heart because at that time, one has to keep at least some memory should be there in your brain. So initially it's okay, but later on, examples serve more, purpose for remembering concepts. So it's not the other way. That is, tell concepts, remember and solve problems. No, tell concepts, let them forget the right words, but examples, do examples, lots of examples. That's the way out.
Okay, Helps. And next question is from Preshit Khasnis, must be a student. The question is, what is the best way to score good marks in maths?
Best way to score is to solve problems and do study every day. See, I always told my students that mathematics is not the subject which you start reading a few days before exam. In fact, few days before exam, you don't study mathematics. You go for exam, you will score. But you study every day. When you start learning, suppose you are a ninth standard student, like you sleep, like you eat every day, you have to study maths every day. Come what may, let there be marriage in your house. Mathematics is something to be done every day. Because I told you it is abstract subject and you don't meet it in the road. You have to keep that every day. You have to train your brain in that subject. Those words should come to you every day. 15 days before exam, you will feel lost. Those words will come on you and then it will be very scary for you. So do every day and last day go for a movie. Not a problem.
This is a very interesting approach. When I used to scared or get scared before my CA papers, I used to go for a movie because that was my way of, forgetting my
Yes,
stress.
yes, yes,
So,
yes.
with this experience and enrichment that I got today, I think just one session won't be sufficient for us. And probably before your course launches, we would like to invite you one more time and meet the parents and students one more time. We are a bit greedy in that sense, so we'll definitely call you one more time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you so
Siddhartha.
much for
I
your
also
time.
enjoyed talking to you and talking to this audience. And I'm thankful to the entire asymmetrical team for all their efforts. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Thank you.
this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
with that, we conclude this session and see you again soon. Thank you so much.